Have a violent crime crisis in Virginia right now.
It is the #1 killer of children 0 to 19 in our country right now. And I think that should get everybody's attention.
Too many caskets have been picked out. Too many bullets in our neighborhoods. Too many mothers are yelling and screaming, why my son, why my daughter?
Society as a whole is victimized anytime a child is murdered.
It's one of the most memorable homicides I ever covered. Drug dealers came by, shot this little girl, Kayla Brown, through her bassinet. I can remember coming home and hugging my kid.
It is time to take action. I don't just want to show up on the scene and hug a loved one that's grieving. I want them to let them know I'm here for the whole ride.
We're trying to transform the inner city by transforming the inner man.
When you randomly shooting that, bullets don't have a name. A 3-month-old, a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, it doesn't matter. They're still somebody's baby, you know, that you're putting their life at jeopardy.
Come on, people. We got to do better.
Welcome to this special presentation of the CBS 6 News at 6. I'm Candace Burns in Richmond alongside CBS 6 crime insider John Broquette.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald here in Petersburg with CBS 6 senior reporter Wayne Koval. Today, we're taking a 360-degree look at crime, an issue that's causing concerns in communities across the country right now.
In the last few weeks, there have been mass shootings that have claimed the lives of innocent men, women, and children across the country.
And we've had several high-profile shootings in the Richmond area, like the one that took place at a graduation party in Chesterfield County. Once again, it spurred a national and local conversation on gun violence.
Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take an in-depth look at the problems and the potential solutions.
And we'll profile those who are trying to change things for the better.
We begin our coverage tonight with stories about the impact violent crime has on families. Melissa Hippolyte will bring us the story of a little girl who was shot and the doctors who saved her life.
But we start with a grieving mother who talks to me about the loss of her son and the loss of her faith in the justice system.
It starts from downtown. It starts from the ones that's sitting up there in the big office. It starts with them. They have to make the first step. Can't blame the police. They out here every day working hard, putting their life on the line.
The blame game has no winners. Ramona Brown says her son's murder case was compromised and the triggerman and his accomplice were let off easy because of new laws and plea deals.
I blame the ones who pulled the trigger. I blame the justice system down here because they keep letting these young men do crimes. They go to jail, they come home, and they get right back out.
Travis Thomas, now 18, will serve 25 years for 2 murders in Richmond, convicted in Antonio Brown's death and also of killing 17-year-old Jamari Saunders, 2019, in Mosby Court. The second suspect in Brown's case, Gregory White, got less time.
I was expecting him to get at least 45 to life in prison.
And he got what?
He got 10 years.
Commonwealth's attorney, Colette McEachin.
Every crime is unique. Every situation is unique. What I would say to any parent who is unhappy with, especially the parent of a child or family member who has died or been permanently or seriously injured because of gun violence, is that the Commonwealth Attorney's Office takes those cases most seriously, right? Because those are the worst types of cases. But then that means that we need community support. We need people who are willing to testify in court. We need witnesses who will say on the stand what they're willing to say on the street.
And Brown admits witness participation was lacking in her son's trial. Antonio Brown, a 28-year-old father of 4, his mom feels was slighted by a system that's corroded with political correctness.
They got to do better than this because they are causing more family, more harm and hurt than they do on anything. They talk about coming up with all these programs to stop the violence and do this and do that. If they make these boys do hard time for what they doing, maybe they won't have all these killings out here.
I'm gonna go down the Albert slide.
To watch Ava Miles play,
and wait!
You would never know what rests inside the Henrico 5-year-old's tiny body.
Hey.
But right around her hip,
a shot.
A lasting reminder of what happened on July 15th in 2020.
She was like 3, innocent, and carefree.
Kiara Lucas and her 2 daughters were asleep inside an apartment on O Street in Church Hill around midnight.
It was like a machine gun going off kind of. I was like, scared the life out of me.
Gunfire outside made its way into Ava's room.
She started screaming, and I thought it was just, I'm scared kind of scream. So I ran to her in the dark, and she was soaked in blood from her waist down.
Thankfully, Ava survived, and the surgeon opted not to remove the bullet.
It'll do more damage to surgically remove it for her leg. Just let it keep.
Her story is all too common these days in Central Virginia.
We have lost a 6-month-old.
Dr. Jeffrey Haynes is the head of the Children's Trauma Center at the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU.
The children are in the way, and they are the innocent victims, and something must be done.
Haynes says hospital data shows the number of kids 14 and under who were the victims of firearm injuries increased 25% in 2019, another 25% in 2020, and yet another 25% in 2021.
It's eye-opening, isn't it?
He says 10 years ago, nearly all the gunshot victims the Children's Hospital treated related to safety events. For example, when a child found a gun at home that wasn't locked up and accidentally shot themselves or someone else.
Now we see twice as many violence-related events where the children are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And in those shootings, the likelihood of death is much higher.
Bullets are just destructive, and any sort of central injury to the chest or abdomen can cause the loss of the life of the child. Yes, that's the sad truth.
Let's put on our boots.
If they do survive,
let's put on our hats.
Like Ava, they carry a heavy mental burden.
Now
they need, individual therapy, they need family therapy, but then they also need community support. They need support in schools.
For her, she associated sleep with, I'm gonna get hurt. So she wouldn't sleep or sleep by herself for a long time.
Ava's mom now has a message for those who catch innocent children in the crossfire.
When you randomly shooting that, bullets don't have a name. It could be a 3-month-old, a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, it doesn't matter. They're still somebody's baby, that you're putting their life at jeopardy.
Petersburg has struggled to reduce violence for decades, but as someone who has worked here for nearly 30 years, I can tell you the situation is as bad as I've ever seen it.
But there are people trying to make a difference, like the deputy police chief who was born and raised in this city.
And a preacher who often leaves her pulpit so she can provide comfort at crime scenes.
If you got Jesus on your side, baby boy, baby girl, you are free.
Every Sunday morning,
You got to be recharged, y'all.
you'll find Pastor Belinda Ball
That Jesus is Lord.
leading her church in worship.
Oh, I've been in ministry now for almost 22 years.
But day or night,
Come on, people. We got to do better. We are burying our children every day.
you'll also find her standing at the yellow crime scene tape and at funerals of those killed in Petersburg by gun violence.
I don't just want to show up on the scene and hug a loved one that's grieving. I want them to let them know I'm here for the whole ride.
You'll also find her marching in the streets, promoting peace.
Please say something.
And begging the public to come forward with information to help police solve violent crimes.
If you don't, it's going to happen to somebody else's child.
And while some may downplay the impact of walks like this,
You got children dying, and we're not talking about adults, but you're talking about babies. Some people have a mindset that these walks don't matter, or they are not going to bring among any change. That's the wrong mindset to have.
don't be fooled into thinking this pastor isn't in touch with what's happening in the community and on the streets, because she knows and understands firsthand.
My daughter is actually a teacher here in the city of Petersburg. She teaches at Cool Springs 5th graders. My son is actually incarcerated. He's been incarcerated now, next year will be 14 years.
She understands and listens to those who see and live through the violence and who say they are tired of the talk.
Hey, look at this, Pastor Ball. Look, I got 3 kids. Where they going? Where they going? But to stand around the corner. They ain't got nothing here for the kids to do. This is their language. This is what they say.
And she believes that analogy isn't wrong.
Our children now in this generation don't have anywhere to go. They go straight from school back into a doom, dreary atmosphere. And then they sit in the house all day on video games, TVs, and nobody is consistently feeding their minds.
There's been a lot that has happened at this intersection. Just across the street on the other side of Dunlop, we had a homicide a few years.
Like other jurisdictions in Central Virginia and across the U.S., Petersburg is seeing a troubling spike in violence.
Yesterday we had a vehicle crash and a gentleman shot with inside the vehicle. He's in the hospital now in Richmond in critical but stable condition.
Deputy Chief Emmanuel Chambliss has spent more than 3 decades policing these streets, and he's worried.
Why does it seem like things are so much more violent, especially with gun violence?
So our gun violence has escalated. We don't know what the cause of the escalation is, but it has increased. It's concerning to us. It's concerning to our citizens.
While his city has long struggled with crime, Chambliss says this is different from the violence of the late 80s and early 90s fueled by the crack epidemic, and there are no clear answers as to how to stop it.
What we're seeing now, I believe, is worse than what we experienced back then with the uptick in gun violence. It seems like everyone has a gun out here, and they're not able to resolve their differences without picking up a gun. There's no more fist fights or anything like that. It's young people again. It's our people in their 20s and 30s. The youngest we had recently was the 15-year-old that was a victim of gun violence that lost his life over in Lieutenant Rundle Apartments.
Chambliss knows these streets well beyond his almost 33 years on the job. He grew up here.
It must feel like your town is out of control a little bit.
It definitely is out of control. You know, growing up here in Petersburg, like I said earlier, there were 4 of us that grew up together, and this is what 3 of us wanted to do with our lives. We knew back then, as young kids, we wanted to be police officers, and we pursued careers as law enforcement officers, and I'm still in it today.
Chambliss says he and his fellow officers have long said they need the community's help, especially in providing tips. But he knows there is plenty of fear about speaking up.
People must tell you
they do.
To your face, I'm afraid.
They do. They tell us they're afraid, that we've had officers approach people, and they tell the officers to get off their property, and not that nicely. So he got shot over here in the parking lot, and we found his body back behind, at that corner of the store. And in that particular homicide, our witness is the victim's cousin, who won't come forward and tell us who did it.
That's real fear right there. For their own cousin.
He said he's not snitching.
And with the current violent crime wave not showing signs of slowing, Chambliss says despite the years he's put in, he can't slow down either.
There's definitely still a lot of work to be done. You know, it doesn't get easy. Our guys are working, you know, around the clock. They're tired. You know, we're tired. I'm tired of coming out and seeing dead bodies on the street. I'm tired of seeing parents crying because their child has been killed. Someone crying because they lost their loved one. I'm tired of seeing that hurt in those families' faces.
That's the house right there. It's one of the most memorable homicides I ever covered. Drug dealers came by, sprayed the house with an AK-47, shot this little girl, Kayla Brown, through her bassinet. I can remember coming home and hugging my kid and just thinking, my God. I remember that story like it was yesterday.
All right, a hot and humid day out there. The current temperature in Richmond is 90 degrees. It feels hotter than that with a dew point of 67. That feels like temperature is 93. Other temperatures across Virginia vary a good bit. It all depends on how close you are to some of these storms that developed. That'll knock your temperature down in the 70s in short order. Pretty good storm north and east of Richmond. This is out in western King William County, eastern sections of Caroline County. Another big storm, Fork Union area to Bremo Bluff. That's going to be out in Buckingham County. These storms continue to move to the east at about 15 miles per hour. Flood watch to our north until 3 o'clock in the morning. And we'll see more storms developing back to the west and pushing into central Virginia over the next several hours. Low end threat for some severe weather. Again, just an outside shot here. Damaging winds would be the primary threat. So 90 tomorrow. It's going to be a dry day tomorrow and a really nice day with low humidity coming up on Friday. As we get into Saturday, still a 70% chance of rain Saturday. Sunday appears dry. We'll start to heat up as we get into next week.
John, you've been covering crime in Central Virginia for a very long time.
That's right, Candace, more than 20 years.
And most of the time when you go out, you're by yourself. So recently we decided to send a crew with John to document a day in the life of the Crime Insider.
Person shot, 924 McDonough Street.
John, where are we going?
We are going to the south side, the Manchester area, for a shooting. So when I first started, it was pretty hot, especially on the south side. It was pretty hot with crime. And we were kind of in the range of, 60 or 70 homicides in a year. But last year, man, was
at the stop sign,
by far.
McDonough Street, then arrive at your destination.
Last year was by far the most violent that I've seen us have in a long, long time, at least 15 years. A woman I spoke with off camera says she grabbed her kids this evening, ducked, and ran to the back of her home, adding, it sounded like the gunfire was getting louder and louder. Yeah. All right. They tell you anything, Ben? But where are they at?
Over here, I can tell you.
Okay. So we're gonna go over there because Ben has got us hooked up with two girls that have a Ring camera with the audio on it. Hey ladies, how are you? Can I interview you real quick? Brittany, you're walking outside today, and what did you hear?
About 7 gunshots, like literally as soon as I opened my door.
I've never in my life been so terrified, like at all.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight, like at a spot that we come to all the time.
All right, guys, still have some detectives, some patrol, some folks in the major crimes unit here still on scene in South Richmond. Crime Insider sources filling me in lately saying 2 people shot here. They were actually shot inside the building, I'm told. All right, so we'll go the back way into Mosby, and then we'll cross over into Wickham. I was covering 5 people shot one day. 1 man, we're told by police, died here on scene, and they were shooting the street right over next to me. From where I'm standing, we actually heard the shots as the police were working that scene. So you saw what we just did, right? Cross railroad tracks, up the hill, bang, we're in Gilpin. Findle, I think Garland's the next one up.
What happened here, John?
So this house right here is where the little girl was in her bassinet. Dad owed drug dealers some money. Drug dealers came by, sprayed the house with an AK-47. Bullet went through the house into the bassinet, hit the little girl, she died. She was 23 months at the time. Her name was Kayla Brown, and I will never forget it because I was on scene when they brought her body out in a pillowcase. And you can see how much it affects me. We're 20 years past that? And I remember every detail about that night, who she was, her name, her age. And I can remember coming home and hugging her tight and just thinking, my God. That's when you hear the question why, and it tests your faith. There's been several cases where I've gone home and wept a little bit, cried, and you try and cry it out. But, I don't think there's weakness in that. Families look to you to keep the story alive or to, make sure their loved one doesn't die in vain.
From Richmond down here to Petersburg and up to Washington, D.C., most politicians agree violent crime is a problem, but the solutions often trigger contentious debate.
So what can be done in the immediate future to tackle this issue? Our Caroline Colburn sat down with state leaders on both sides of the aisle.
We have a crisis in Virginia right now, so we got to go to work right now.
Governor Glenn Youngkin says it's his top priority.
This is an all hands on deck moment. There's no messing around here.
Getting Virginia's crime rate down.
And we are absolutely going to make Virginia safe again.
And it's something both Republican Attorney General Jason Miyares.
It's tragic. It's tragic.
And Democratic State Senator Jennifer McClellan.
It is time to take action.
Agree needs to happen now. But how do we get there? Well, that's where they don't see eye to eye. The governor's plan.
I am launching a violent crime task force.
A group he says will travel the state engaging with community and law enforcement leaders, as well as state police who will have federal resources to create a plan to get the murder rate down. The other part of his plan?
And so we have seen law enforcement not funded the way we need to fund it.
Increasing pay for police.
These salary increases and this equipment and training increase and this increase in funding for community relations has to happen now.
Miyares supports the governor.
One of the most important ways to lower gun violence is just a larger police presence.
And he believes once the state recruits more officers, they can get back to community policing.
One of the most effective things you could do as officers that are embedded in their community, where the citizens there know the officers, feel comfortable with the officers, and most importantly, feel comfortable sharing intelligence with the officers of what they're seeing, what they're hearing.
As the state's top prosecutor, he also wants to use his power to get violent repeat offenders off the streets.
Because that's the quickest way to lower gun violence and make the community feel safer.
Before he took office, Miyares told CBS 6 he supported bringing back parts of Project Exile, which shipped those convicted of using an illegal firearm out of state for a minimum 5-year prison sentence. How do you feel now?
We're going to be tinkering with it some. Project Ceasefire is what we're pushing forward, but it's a similar concept.
Project Ceasefire would target group violence intervention, creating a fund which would be managed by Miyares' office to invest in crime reduction strategies, training and equipment for police, and other organizations.
We cannot arrest our way out of gun violence. We have to address the root causes of it and do that in a holistic way. The House Republicans really want to focus on group violence, but again, not every reason for gun violence is the same.
But McClellan and some Democrats believe the way to stopping crime is not just recruiting more police.
We're putting too much on police that we should leave to other professionals. We rely on the police to be the first responders for mental health. That should be, people who are trained to be counselors and mentors, and let police respond to crime.
This is about criminals. And we are seeing gang violence go up, drug trafficking go up, human trafficking go up. And of course, this is a result of a soft on crime approach for so many years.
These state leaders have made it clear they want people to feel comfortable traveling to Richmond, Petersburg, and every other city without worrying about potentially becoming a victim of violence.
They shouldn't be looking over their shoulder in fear. Our job is to make sure that's not happening.
If we are not addressing the causes, we will never end the violence.
We're trying to transform the inner city by transforming the inner man. What we give them is hope. What we give them is a guarantee that somebody in our community cares.
Finally tonight, from a basketball court to a criminal court and back again. A Richmond man says a bad decision landed him behind bars for nearly 15 years.
Now he's peddling hoop dreams to keep kids from experiencing the nightmare that once derailed his life. Greg McQuaid has his story.
It's just a beautiful place in Richmond, man.
Ray Neblett relishes the tranquility of Bird Park.
Oh, man, it's totally relaxing. Totally relaxing. I'll be able to get my mind straight, be able to erase some things, delete some stuff.
But the Richmond native finds total bliss 3 miles and a world away.
Come on, let's get a game going then.
Holding court.
All right then, give me some.
In Gilpin Court.
Come on, man, let's get a game going right quick, man. I thought y'all came to the ball. Where Valentino and them at?
The 57-year-old Parks and Rec employee doesn't just organize pickup games.
So I don't get no job today? I don't get to play? I'm referee. I referee. Okay, I referee. That's fair. Basketball will always be important to me. Basketball allowed me to get an education.
During the 1980s, Ray carved a reputation as a standout guard at VUU.
We're the only team in the history of Virginia Union that ever won 30 consecutive straight games.
But Ray's guidance doesn't always involve perfecting the jump shot.
We want to put some components inside of them and maybe ignite those components that's already there. We don't want them to go through life as a hollow tree.
At his week-long free camp, children are coached, mentored, and fed, nourished on the inside and out.
What we give them is hope. You know, what we give them is a guarantee that somebody in our community cares.
Ray also provides a roadmap of what not to do.
I tell kids all the time, one bad decision got me 14 and a half bad years in prison.
In 1991, Ray was arrested for armed robbery and sent to prison.
Out of 14 and a half years, not 1 minute was good. None of it was good.
Ray's mission of helping others gain momentum upon his release in 2005.
We're trying to transform the inner city by transforming the inner man that live inside these kids.
The Ray Neblett Inner City Foundation encourages children and teens to achieve success through hard work while avoiding a life of crime.
A lot of times it's just fool's gold, you know, and they got a saying where they say, well, we'll get rich or die trying. And all our kids just dying trying.
Ray sees himself in the faces of every child he guides.
We want to find something that they like so we can get their ear. See, once you get their ear, then you can get their heart.
It has been a long journey for this former hoop star, but his rough waters finally calm.
I just take a moment to focus my mind on my spirit. It's beautiful to be able to do that.
Ray Neblett, a man that thrives on keeping children from dribbling out of bounds in life.
I'm the richest man you've ever met. I'm the richest man you've ever met, if you calculating it like that.
You can find all of these stories and our other Crime 360 reports on our website, WTVR.com. Click the link at the top of our homepage. Reporting from Petersburg, I'm Bill Fitzgerald.
And I'm Wayne Koval.
Reporting in downtown Richmond, I'm John Burkett.
And I'm Candace Burns. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of CBS 6 Crime 360. Have a good night.